It's a wonderful question in my mind. And of course, one of the questions that is always on my mind is for example, the managerial skills in Ukraine or in the United States or Germany or Russia or Africa different? And we think yes. We think leadership and manager has some basic skills that are true globally for everywhere. And they also depend on what we call time spirits, which is a particular characteristic of each culture. So, for example, if I think of Ukraine, in my understanding of having worked here now for a few years, Ukraine is in an amazing spot because there are so many new opportunities that appear, and there are, because of history, Ukrainians' history with Russia, a great and rich relationship with your neighbors in the east, and great and rich potential relationships with your neighbor in the west, and Ukraine has the skill to do both. However, there's also a couple of complications that come with it. We work in a model that we use in the Deep Democracy and Deep Democracy Institute. We're using a model that looks at historical context. For example, the part that is connected to Ukrainian and Soviet history has brought forward a particular strong motivation in the ability to make profit and to be successful. It's like for a long time in this culture, the concept of profit and making money was not very central. It was not a general value. So now it is possible, and there is a big excitement about profit and money. That's a really great thing. At the same time, by the way, not only in Ukraine, but generally emerging markets, we don't think so much of innovation, we don't think so much of creativity, and we don't think so much of basic workplace satisfaction, because we see opportunities. That brings for managers basically two big challenges in my mind, Ukrainian managers. One is workforce motivation. We think that because top leaders are especially looking for opportunities and profit opportunities, that it's reflected in the workforce who doesn't particularly is focused on professional development and creativity, but is also especially focused on monetary compensation and general sense of why should I work now that I have a job. So motivational issues are big. So most commonly, managers then have a tendency to either not be clear in what they expect about results and performance, and at the same time neglect joy, motivation, and professional development. Now comes my advice. Think of a manager being in a duo position, like a musical duo. There's basically two instruments that a manager needs to be able to play. One is good work atmosphere, joy, and creativity. That's basically a teamwork and a workplace atmosphere skill. Some managers are fantastic. They're just very gifted in creating good teamwork, good relationships, and the ability to motivate teams. As a result, they frequently are shy to be very clear about their expectations, to be very clear about formulating what they need in terms of performance, and to be clear about the consequences if that performance isn't reached. On the other side, you frequently get managers who are very good with clarity and results, but frequently they're not very gifted with a relationship. So also they are clear and they can insist on the results. People don't like them and they're not motivated to work together. So we say to every manager, once a week, have 1 hour where you speak to your team and praise them for what they do right. Validate what they do in terms of general contribution to the company or to your team. Focus only on atmosphere and teamwork. And only mention what's good. Don't be critical. Only mention what's good so people can build on that. Another day on the week, make it clear and say, today we're not working on teamwork, we're working only on results and expectations. These are the results that we have reached or not reached. This is what I expect, and this is what happens if we don't reach the expectations. So frequently managers mix these two together. In one meeting they say, this was good, but we have no results. We like this team, but we haven't reached the goals. So one is actually deleting the other. So they need to be separated. One day a week, praise the team, work on teamwork. One day a week, focus on results, expectations, and be clear what happens if these expectations aren't met. A classical example is you have a company who spends 2 days in a motivational event. They're pulling everybody together, and for 2 days they bring in motivational speaker, they praise, they say what's been very good, and they say all the goals that they have reached, and people come out at the end of the 2 days very motivated. And then the gossip is later among the management, but did you see so-and-so was not on time, so-and-so drank too much or whatever. Then a week later, they have a meeting where they say, these and these goals haven't met, this and this we have not achieved, and I need you guys to do this and this. So the gossip is afterwards. So these 2 days weren't really there for us to, like, they were a lie. They were lying to us. It was just meant to make us feel good, but people didn't really mean it. So better would be to say, we have a 2-day retreat. The first day is only on teamwork and motivation. Praise what's good. The second day is going to be sober result and performance, where you show how well is the company doing, what's working, but also what is not working. Where is the performance not reached? And be clear about the consequences. If we don't reach this, we have to, for example, reduce workforce. So another example in a smaller department is a very motivated person, manager, works overtime. He says, I'm often in the office till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I feel I live for the company. I do everything for the company. And at one point, something goes wrong. His manager, his top manager, comes to him and says, you have not achieved this goal. You're not doing a good job. We don't like what you are doing. Please do better, be better, or else we can no longer keep you. So, with other words, there is a general lack of what's good, and there is a general framing of what needs to be done. So either people only focus on one and people only focus on the other. Like this manager, for example, he quit his job. He got very discouraged because he felt everything that he put into was not being seen, and therefore as a result he lost his motivation to stay in the company. In my mind, one of the biggest issues is that, for example, if you think you become a doctor or you become a lawyer, everybody knows you have to study. And it takes a lot of skills to perform your profession. To be a leader and a manager actually is asking for two things. One, you have to be an expert in your field. And two, you have to have an additional degree in leadership. So what Maxfxx Business Digest is doing, in my mind, is very visionary for the Ukrainian business community. It brings together knowledge and examples out of the business world to help not just individual businesses grow, but to help the whole Ukrainian business community to grow. This is very visionary of Maxfxx.